this topic we will describe the transport of nutrients and waste materials in invertebrates. Uh, the main system that uh, participate in transport in all the living organisms is circulatory system. How we can define a transport system? Any system by which the materials are moved or transported from an exchange surface to exchange surfaces to cell located throughout the organism. Mean the materials are transported uh, through the help of a surface that allows the exchange to another surface that also allows the exchange of material, and this system is responsible for transportation of materials throughout the body of living organism. There are some purposes and benefits of transportation. That are transportation provide nourishment, mean it is responsible for transport of nutrients, so it is responsible for nourishment of an organism. It helps in fighting against diseases, as we know that circulatory system or transport system plays major role in supporting immune system. And then next is it is responsible for homeostasis, I mean maintaining temperature, pH of the body, temperature of the body, and for the excretion of waste materials. Transport system is responsible. There are two major types of transport system that are simple transport system and complex transport system. Simple transportation mean that includes simple diffusion of material across the membrane. And in complex transportation, as we know that there in the living organisms there are major three factors or three systems for transport of material, that are diffusion, active transport, and osmosis. In simple transport, only diffusion is involved, and in complex transport, these all three are involved. I mean, diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. So, simple transport system can further be divided into three systems, that are water transport system, gastrovascular cavity, and the third one includes the coelomic fluid, uh, the system in which coelomic fluid is responsible for transportation of material. Water vascular system or water transport system is present in some simpler vertebrates, and it transport uh, materials through the movement of water to exchange different materials to the various parts of body. Mean in this system, water is responsible for transportation of materials inside the body, and it is found in sponges. Next, we have gastrovascular cavity. In this system, gastrovascular cavity is involved. Gastro mean that is related to gastric, and vascular mean in which vascular system is involved. So, in this cavity, the nutrients are supplied to the all cells in the cavity lining, and it provide oxygen and from water, and other materials are also transported from the water to the lining of the gastrovacular cavity. This system is present in cnidarians. Next is the coelomic fluid, and this system is of circulation is present in echinoderms and annelids. Next, we will describe the transportation in all the invertebrate kingdoms, starting from porifera to echinoderms. First of all, we have protozoa. These are not invertebrates; these are protists. But this is mentioned. Um so there is simplest system. They have simplest system of transportation that is small with high surface area to volume ratio is present in these animals, and in this system simple diffusion for gases, nutrients and gas exchange occur, and plasma membrane and cytoplasm are the media through which material diffuse into different parts of organism and outside the environment. Mean majorly diffusion is involved in the transport of material, and it occurs through a plasma membrane, and the media is cytoplasm, which contains the materials that are transported. Next, the simplest invertebrates are sponges or poriferans. Sponges circulate water from the external environment into their instead of internal fluid, and this water is circulated through their body, and they have a single body opening from which water enters and also exit the body, and this water contains nutrients and other materials that are diffused into the body of the organism, and then the waste materials are also excreted in this water that exit from that particular single opening of poriferas. The next to porifera are the cnidarians or coelenterates, and cnidarians uh, like hydra have fluid filled internal gastrovacular cavities. This cavity supplies nutrients for all body cells lining the cavity. This provide oxygen from water in cavity and is reservoir of carbon dioxide and waste. Reservoir mean that this is responsible for excretion and exit of carbon dioxide and waste materials from the body. Simple body movements allows the movement of fluids inside the body, mean that there is no system for the movement of materials including water inside the body, and these are the movements of animals that allows their distribution and their movement inside the body of these materials. The examples of cnidarians include corals, hydra, jellyfish, Portuguese men of war, sea anemones, and all of these are mentioned here. Next, we have platyhelminthes, or also called, their example is flatworm, and these are more complex than hydra, and branches are present to the all parts of body. In these, the main evolution is that in this system is formation of branches that allows the materials diffusion that decrease or reduce the diffusion distance, mean the materials are mostly transported to the most near part of a particular part of body which needs the materials, and they have broad vascular cavity that run close to the body cells. Diffusion distance for nutrients, gases and wastes is short. Body movements help the distribute the materials. Disadvantage of this system is that it limits these animals to relatively small size, or to shape them to maintain the small diffusion distance. Their examples are tapeworms, liver fluke and flatworms. Next are rotifers. Rotifers or nematodes use the body fluids of their body cavity for transport. Small animals, these are small animals, and the movements of the body against the coelomic fluids. I mean, coelomic fluid when move inside the body in a particular direction, the animals move in the opposite direction, and this process allows which are in direct contact with the internal tissue and organs produce adequate transport. This process of the opposite movement allows the adequate transport of the materials. Few other invertebrates such as ectoprocs, echinoderms also depend on their body cavity as coelomic transport chamber. So, what are ectoprocs that are mentioned here? These are mentioned ectoprocs. Ectoprocs are also called bryozoa, or a phylum of simple aquatic invertebrate animals, nearly all living in sedentary colonies. We can check here. It is mentioned that nematodes also uh, transport the materials through their body cavity, and the process that is involved in transporting nematodes is also diffusion. Next, we have arthropods. Arthropods are the invertebrates that have open circulatory system found in arthropods, and that pumps the blood into a cavity called hemocoel, where its surrounding surrounds the organ, and then it returns to the heart through ostia, that is an opening. The blood found in arthropods mix of blood and interstitial fluid. Next we have molluscans, and the from here closed circulatory system is started from the molluscans. Actually, it is mentioned in Miller and Hurley that closed circulatory system is present in molluscans, but we can see from here that annelids are before molluscans, but they still have a closed circulatory system. But it is mentioned in Miller and Hurley that molluscans are the first animals that have closed circulatory system, and their circulatory system, the closed circulatory system, is also called as cardiovascular system, as it involves the cardiac and vascular vessels for the transportation of materials. Muscular pumping heart is present that move the fluid medium called either lymph or blood into specific direction. Unidirectional blood vessels mean that blood vessels that allow the movement of materials in the single direction. Next we have annelids. The annelid circulatory system includes two major blood vessels that runs the length of the worm: the dorsal body vessel along the top and the ventral body vessels along the bottom. And much like humans, annelids have a closed circulatory system, which means that blood circulates into the through a closed network of body. And however, our single heart and the annelids may have five hearts that allows the movement of material and the transportation inside the animal. Here earth form is mentioned, and here are mentioned his hearts and the his dorsal and ventral blood vessels that allows the movement of material inside the animal. Next we have echinoderms. Echinoderms have an open circulatory system with cilia circulating the fluids through each arms. We know that they have pentaradial symmetry, and there is a particular system called as water vascular system, which is majorly responsible for the transportation of material, and this is called system of tubes, network of fluids, filled canals, gas exchange and removal of metabolic wastes. The skin gills and tube feet are involved in this process, And here also the major process in the major process involved in transportation is diffusion. Next, we will define the circulatory system. It is the system that permits blood to circulate and transport nutrients. Um, it may be blood, the fluid may be blood or any other fluid like hemolymph or uh, hemolymph, etc. And it carries the nutrients like amino acids and electrolytes, and gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, and proteins like hormones and blood cells, and from the and from the cell in the body. Next, we have two types of circulatory system. That one is open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. Here these types are mentioned only according to the systems, uh, simple and complex transport system that are present in invertebrates and some vertebrates. This is not actually mentioned according to their differences. So circulatory fluids does not remain consistent inside vessels in an open circulatory system, uh, rather than in a closed circulatory system where the fluid remain persistent inside the vessels. Exchange of materials occurs through the capillary membrane in an open circulatory system. In closed circulatory system, there is a direct exchange and no diffusion barrier is present inside the animal, and it involves simple transport and is present in invertebrates. Open circulatory system is present in most invertebrates and involves simple transport, and closed circulatory system involves complex transport and it is present in most vertebrates, and some invertebrates may have closed circulatory system. In this system, open circulatory, gases are transported by a tracheal system. However, closed circulatory system also transports the gases. Here, examples are mentioned. Hemichordates, arthropoda, molluscs have open circulatory system, and most vertebrates and some invertebrates like annelids, earthworms, and have a closed circulatory system. This was all about the transportation of materials inside the animals. Next, we have body fluids, coelomic fluid, hemolymph, and blood that will be described inshallah in the next coming video. Thank you. It was the end. Allah Hafiz.